is the percentage of Black Americans and white Americans who disagree so violently over the facts of this case. And that is the real educational value of the television and the film in this particular
I think they have to think that it has to be.
Different perceptions of police that both communities have.
It has to be more.
So I ask you very quickly, former prosecutor now teaching law students at Florida. There is all over the country, regardless of demographic, but I think it's fair to say it runs particularly strong among whites in this country, that black juries, quote-unquote black juries, are reluctant to convict black defendants.
You know what I'm saying? And those are supposed to be the best in the country.
During the day, I ain't gonna lie, I was so confused about this whole situation. One time I said guilty, one time.
Jury is not present. Good morning. This morning at 9 o'clock, the court met informally with counsel here in the courtroom because there are too many lawyers to go into chambers this morning for the purposes of discussing notifications to the jurors regarding their rights of privacy and the interest of the news media
jurors to stand up and end racism in the LAPD. And when they're saying they don't want to talk about it, and in light of the quick verdict after only Alan Park's direct testimony, they didn't want to hear the cross, and in light of the fact that they didn't want to look at O.J. Simpson, this is what you wonder.
And the record should reflect that we have now been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel and our alternates. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you, do you have the envelope with the sealed verdict forms, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, would you give those to Deputy Trotter? And would you return those to our four-person juror number one? All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury? Mrs. Robertson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187. In this case, been convicted of at least one crime of murder of the first degree and one or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be not true. Signed this second day of October 1995, Jury 230. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you won, so say you all.
All right, counsel, Mr. Simpson, would you be seated, please? Let's have it quiet in the courtroom, please. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you please call the jurors?
Jury number one, as to count one, is this your verdict? Jury number two, as to count one, is this your verdict? Jury number three, as to count one, is this your verdict? Jury number four, as to count one, is this your verdict? Yes. Jury number five, as to count one, is this your verdict? Jury number six, as to count one, is this your verdict? Jury number seven, as to count one, is this your verdict?
I couldn't even sleep last night. I thought I was on trial. Yes. Yes. Because there's too many unanswered questions. You know, there's got to be doubt. There's too many things that moved around and was put in place. You know, he might have done it, but there's too many unanswered questions.
So, what's your reaction to the verdict, sir?
Well, I'm elated because I think justice prevailed. One of the things that was puzzling in my mind is that I never got the opportunity to really ponder whether he was guilty or not. All I could really consider was the evidence that was presented during the course of this trial had all kind of holes in it. So if I was a juror, that's a shadow of a doubt. So he's not guilty as a result of that. I'm elated that justice prevailed. The other thing is that there were so many agendas. You know, the Justice Department had an agenda. They wanted to come out of this, you know, looking all right. You had the Los Angeles Police Department. They're definitely on trial, rather than sub-trial or what have you. Then you had all other different types of agendas. I can't help but believe that Marcia Clark was really feeling the pressure of winning. I can't help but believe that all the other prosecuting attorneys had to feel the pressure of winning. And then whatever was left was O.J. So I feel very good about what was taking place.
I mean, you speak about all of these things, but do you think he is an innocent man who was wrongfully prosecuted?
I think that was not evidence presented to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was guilty. I can't progress any further than that. I took the evidence that I saw and what was presented, and there were holes in all of the evidence. So he's not guilty as a result of that. Now, whether he killed his wife or not, I don't know. I have no idea. All I know, it was very convincing.
Your reaction to it?
I was happy.
Why?
Because I knew that there was a God somewhere for sure.
Why does O.J. getting acquitted mean that? I mean, do you think he's an innocent man?
No.
You don't?
No.
You actually... Tell me about that.
I was torn between his innocence and his guilt. Looking at the evidence, then all the other confusion that happened with the evidence that could have been planted. Then I look at the fact that there was no other suspects ever thought about or looked for. He was the only suspect. I really think he did it, or he knows who did it, or he had something to do with it.
But why are you happy that he's off?
Because I'm happy that he was found not guilty because of my own personal feelings for him as a black man.
Why is it important for him to be found not guilty if you think he's committed the crime? Why is that important?
That I think...
Why is it important, and why are you happy that he was found not guilty if you think he did the crime?
Well, it just shows the criminal justice system, how it works. Even more plain, and this time it worked on our, for the better for him. It worked out for him. The criminal system is corrupt, and it's screwed up, and there's so many people that are in prison that are not guilty, that didn't commit the crime, and then here you have a man who could have possibly committed the crime, but he was found not guilty.
Sends a bad message to like your son or other young black men?
Well, that he was guilty and found not that he was guilty and found innocent, that it sends a bad message to them. This whole thing has a lot to do with culture and racial beliefs. This is deeper than I could even go into. You know that. It's the principle. To me, blacks, for blacks, it's the principle in there that I think a lot of blacks are looking at.
Why was it important for him to be acquitted as a black man? Why was that important?
Because blacks have been done wrong for so many years, for things that they haven't done. And it was just this trial, and because it was O.J., has affected the lives of so many people and has just turned this whole nation in a whole different direction. And for him to be found innocent is what we needed. Everybody had the black community had their reasons, the white community had their reasons, I'm sure, for wanting to be found guilty. But it was more than just O.J. being on trial. And within that trial, it was more than just O.J. being on trial for the murder of two people. It was more than that. The trial ended up being more than that.
So in some ways, you feel vindicated, better.
I'm happy because OJ was found not guilty. Now, just because I believe that he was guilty doesn't say he was guilty. I believe there's a possibility that he was guilty of the crime. Maybe not just carrying it through or whatever. I can't believe, my personal belief is that he could have been that he is possibly guilty, but he was found innocent, and I'm happy, and that's what I wanted, for him to be found innocent.
Great, you're fine. And no smudges.
I had a list.